Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is Friday, February the 16th, 2018, and I am here with my posse. BZ Rieger and Lisa Flamino Rush. And BZ, I love that you sent us this, and I'm just going to call it, Are You Disconnected from You? Because I like that. Are you disconnected from you? And Lisa, you actually felt like BZ might have been in your head.
Yes. Yes, I did. Because I was, as you know, Sheila, wrestling with this earlier today. So I'm, getting nudges. I'm getting inklings of things. I'm getting even just like flashes of conversation. Like it's almost like puzzle pieces are everywhere, and I'm starting to put them together. And it just feels really cloudy and disconnected. And I was having trust issues because I don't know if I have an expectation of how I think things should be and they aren't, or if it's all just too subtle. But Sheila was pointing out where I'm saying one thing on the one hand, and then in the next sentence I was taking it back because I was doubting it even. So, yeah, that's really real. And I also like the take 24 hours to notice, because it takes an extreme amount of noticing, like really paying attention. And having that conversation with Sheila today helped me to see what was going on, because, like I said, it's so subtle. On the one hand, I know it's there and I feel it, and I was giving voice to it. And then the very next hand, I want to go, but that, that's not real. That can't be real. That can't be what's happening here. And I'm not sure why I'm doing that or what that's about even, other than the just not trusting all of the things that are coming to me. And in just observing it, I've noticed, I think it's because it's really, really subtle. And because it's, I don't know, I'm not quite sure. But so I'm at that phase of observing it, noticing it, and trying to figure out why I'm vacillating in this way.
I think number 5 on the list may be ringing the bell for the where to go.
Okay.
Well, I got to be honest with you. It's almost as though all of these fit into all of it.
Yes.
And I wanted to say something about what you just said, Lisa. And
yes,
the conversation that we had today. In that moment as you were speaking,
yes,
I had this thought to myself. Because I've actually had someone recently say to me, well, I think these things and I notice these things, but I don't say anything to anybody because I'm afraid people will think I'm crazy or whatever. And see, here's the thing. If you, in our conversation today, where you were having this vacillating back and forth, had you continued feeling in that manner, like I've got no one I can confide in or to talk to or to help me notice or whatever.
Yes.
Because sometimes just giving voice to something,
yes,
I mean, it's very helpful. And yes, not everybody in your atmosphere might be open to hearing that.
Right.
But I wanted to say that I feel like sometimes just giving voice to that or having that's why I'm very grateful to have the two of you.
Same.
And others that are now beginning to come into our field
to
talk about these things, because I know I'm not crazy anymore. I know that for a fact. And I also feel as though, because all of this is, well, okay, it's not new, but because we are creator beings, I get that. But in this moment of consciousness, at the level that I'm at the moment, it is different and it feels new, even if it's not.
Yes.
At least to me in this moment of now.
Yes.
And so, I don't know, I just felt.
So you just ticked number 4 on the list.
That's why I said I think they're all connected.
So I'm just going to give a programming note for the people who are going, what list
thank
do they
you.
talk
Yeah,
about?
let's read the list, maybe.
No, you don't need to read. But so yesterday was a Thursday, and I go down and have agility team practice. So it's a long drive down and a long drive back. And so my brain is not, it's working on different things. Anyway, so my habit is, you guys know this, but I'm telling everybody else that when thoughts and ideas or, if I'm asking, what would be a good way for me to be of service, that question comes up. Then I better have either hands free to write notes down or type at a keyboard, or if I'm driving, I can't text or any of that kind of stuff. But I do have a thing on my phone that's a memo record button. And it's very easy without looking at it to just hit 2 things. So my eyes are on the road. Anyway, so I did that yesterday the whole way down, and I think it was 18 or 20 audio memo recordings that I sent to myself. And
thank you very much.
and I only got through typing out 2 of them, which is the list of 5 things that I sent to these guys. So anyways, that's what the lists that we're chuckling about refer to.
That's right.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, we can, and I would love to play with all of them. I think it'd be really helpful if we play with them individually.
Yes.
Each one is pretty big. And the last thing I want to say, which kind of rounds up just that portion of the list, which will get longer. It's infinity length. But anyways, but we'll get longer for what I've got waiting in my own email too. Is that right now in this moment that we're in, things have really clicked up several notches. So if everybody thought that you were moving fast before, no, you were moving at snail's pace. And one of the things that made me think about this to really highlight this, Sheila, you were saying, well, it may be that people are saying to you, well, I thought about that, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want people to think I'm crazy. Well, that time for that kind of thought, which is playing small, is gone. Over, done, finished, that's it. And so you can look at that and hold that 2 different ways. One is that it is time, way past time, to step up and step all in.
Yeah.
And that's because that's your way of being of service to humanity and the all, capital ALL, for bringing all of this to close and then having everybody come into coherence and resonance with each other and then step out and unfurl for the next things that are coming. The other side of that is that when you're playing small, it's incredibly disrespectful to you. It's incredibly unloving to you. It's incredibly, can't even quite think of a word that really captures what it is. It does a disservice to all of humanity. Right. It does a disservice to Source. And it is not at all of love.
Never even thought of it that way. My
voice changed and toned a little bit in a harsh because it's important for people to mark it, to mark this point and really pay attention, because you can feel it. Everybody can feel it within their own body what I'm talking about.
Yes,
and it's not because I'm talking about it. It's because you can feel it. Right?
It's real.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's time to let all of that go.
Okay.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've had a couple of conversations over the last few days, and those words, "it's time," have come out of my mouth more than I have ever said. And I feel very strongly about that. That is,
Yes.
I have felt more of me come into me in just the last 2 days. And I also wanted to say that because I have had at least one person say that, I've always thought these things, I've just never said anything. And I that's the other reason I feel that it's also time, because I have a real gut feeling that there are way more people out there that feel that exact same way.
Yeah, and they're holding everything up.
That's right. And
holding it up.
And that's why I feel like I'm just saying it is time.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, well, let's be very linear for a moment here.
Okay.
And to use a linear term of real frank. When you feel that, when you say that, what you're talking about, Sheila, people have expressed, and it's very common. You could hold it in a way that it's that same small, contrived, which is what it is, constrained energy, frequency, vibration that you're holding by doing that. Make no mistake, it is a signature vibration that you're holding. Is the same signature as doing some of the things that you might label outside of you, pointing at people going, how could they do that?
That's abusive.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It is the same thing.
You're right.
The metaphor is different, absolutely, but it's the same thing. Because you're a powerful being and you're not stepping into your power. And this takes all of us. It's an inside job and it takes all of us. We're not waiting for somebody else to do it. It's all of us, in the collective that need to do it. And so if you've got a lot of people, and there's a whole lot of them, and scores every moment are coming forth with that same feeling, hello? That's the safest linear word I can use.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I want to just knock on the screen actually and say, is anybody in there?
And if all of what we've just covered on this isn't enough incentive, here's a little self-preservation or a being a wuss preservation thing here. By doing that, you are making it incredibly difficult on yourself. It's going to be more painful. You will see things in your world shatter that you go, oh caramba, that didn't have to be that way, but that's what you brought on.
Right.
And the other thing is that you are actually inviting in large measure, anchoring in, if not, depending on how much you're doing it and how actively you're doing it, and locking in to timelines that are not at all of the new earth, that are not all of expansion, that are not at all of love, that are not at all of anything that you might think is happy, fluffy, unfettered, and any other thing that you might think is attractive. Right. What they are is chaotic, painful, fractured, disjointed, uncomfortable, and dismantling.
Yeah, agree.
And it is absolutely a choosing, but you can only sit on the fence so long, and when this fence, the fence is already cracking and the rail's coming down and there's big splinters and the derriere is going to get them.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I pictured somebody sliding down a fence post and what that's going to feel like.
Right.
As the splinters, yeah.
And do you need to know everything? No. Your soul knows what to do. But when you are actively verbalizing or thinking in your head, God, I put that all the time and I never say anything. Why? Why is that? So that's a question not necessarily to ask an answer from me. That's a question to ask and answer within yourself.
Right.
Yes, and I will add to that, BZ, because I can hear that now. I can hear that. Well, but you know, not everybody's like you. Not everybody's like you. Not everybody can think like you or do like you. And so
I hate that.
well, see, I do too. But I will say, because I get that a lot. But I will say to you this for me. So okay. So, but then spend some time doing that noticing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Spend some time doing that noticing thing. Keegan doesn't like it when you don't like something.
No.
Well, because my answer to that is that then you're just pretending.
That's what I'm trying to say. Then that's the moment someone feels to say that. Not everybody thinks like you. Okay, well then what are you thinking like? Ask yourself some questions. Why do I think this way? What is it about what I'm thinking that makes me think this way? I have to tell you this, what I see with folks just blindly going along the way they've always gone along. And this really pertains to almost everything across the board. And not asking ourselves. I'm putting myself in here too, but I now ask myself questions all the time.
Same.
I actually kind of sometimes go a little overboard with asking myself questions, as I can attest. But just ask some questions and feel what the answers feel like. That's what I've been doing.
Yes.
And
yes.
Lisa can,
and you can work out a thing doing that, because like this afternoon, just verbalizing those thoughts, I could see them. They were slapping me around, and it was easy then, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So it's very beneficial to sort out what it is that you're clinging to there.
Well, and now, and in truth, you and I are very fortunate because we have each other. In that, I have turned to you and say, well, now this is what I'm thinking. Well, this is, and then I will ask the question I might ask of myself. I will also ask you, this is what I've asked myself. What do you think? This is what I think. What do you think? And are you sure? Because, and this is what I mean by sometimes I go a little overboard, because I want to make sure that I'm dealing with me in the proper manner. This is almost every time this has ever come up, this has been mostly in regards to someone else thinking of or feeling about me in a specific manner. And I want to make sure, am I looking at this? Am I looking at myself in the proper manner? Because it's really easy to look at yourself in the mirror and say, wow, you got it, when you don't, because there's self-denial in that. I reckon.
On the contrary, I think that for most human beings, that's incredibly hard to look in the mirror and have that response, because the programming is the complete opposite of that.
Oh, okay.
One of the things I think would be really helpful here to do is this may be an overview, kind of an energetic envelope here, and then we can dive into different pieces, even if and it's a playlist just for these other pieces on the list. So close it pretty quick here, but when I said pretending before, I was talking about if someone thinks, they think those things, but they don't say anything. That's just one example. There's lots of iterations of that. So then I meant you're pretending in the sense that you are thinking that you're awake, or you're thinking that you're, notice some of the picture. Well, you're not, because it's just an all thinking thing. There is no actually feeling. There is no standing in it. There is no knowing of it. There is no, because there's a fierceness, and we've talked about this, before. There's a fierceness to that love component, to that passion component, to that absolute, it's unbridled, expansive joy. And there's a fierceness of it, which may seem like a disconnect, but it's not. Because you cannot, when you feel that, when you are connected to that, you cannot be dissuaded by it. And someone thinking or looking at you or whatever it is won't change it. It's there.
You know what? That when I just said to you that in the last 2 days, I felt that more of me has come into me. That's exactly what you just described. That fierceness.
Right.
That is exactly how I have felt. I think I said to Lisa, was it yesterday or day before yesterday? I felt like I was 2 inches taller. It is. It's like for me personally, it was like, it was like a, taller, but okay, to use a linear term, as though more of me was fitting into the corners of this physical vessel. I think that's why, and that feels like, and I hadn't thought about the word fierce, the way you described it until just then.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, you cannot be dissuaded past that.
Right. And it's more than a concept.
Yeah.
Because it's not, like you were saying, it's not a thing that you think, but your life is doing this other thing. It is a thing that you embody. And that is the fierceness. And it's a knowing from experience, not I think I'm a creator being. It's I created this. And you know how you created it. And you continue to create and take ownership of your creations.
Yeah, and to be clear, for me, I don't have a handle on it yet. I'm like a teenager that just got their driver's permit. Okay. I mean, I admit that, but I also am aware of that.
Well, for me, just when I do have a handle on something new shows up. And then I feel like I've got the learner's permit again. And I'm stretched beyond what because new concepts are coming in for me, left, right, and center. And I'm really faced with some old programs. And so just when I mastered one aspect, yet another challenges something else. So I know what you mean, BZ, by I could see if you don't go all the way with it, things are going to get really, really messy really fast. I can see.
Yeah, really messy.
Because these challenges are coming faster and faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because because we're quantum beings. It doesn't matter whether you think, okay, cool, great. I honored that. I've told you I honor that, and I do honor it. I seriously, absolutely honor it. And play with that and see where you go. And because you're on this amazing love rocket ship, and it's going, baby, and you're on it. So, now it's time to pony up and step in it. I think one thing that kind of maybe wrap this energetic envelope here is to say that all of the things that you thought, the way that you communicated with yourself, with your body, with your world, the way that you walked in the world, the way that you generated things, the way that you felt and experienced things is totally different now.
Yes.
And it forevermore. It's not just today or tomorrow or because these three chicks who are little Looney Tunes say it. It's just the way it is. So, and wanting to slot it in a list 1 through 10 or progression or a date, it doesn't work that way. And when you try to do that, because if you get out of here for just a moment and you just take a deep breath and you close your eyes, or you stare with soft eyes at a tree or light or something so that you're You're kind of disengaging that linear thinking brain.
Yes.
You can feel it, even if you don't understand it. Even if if someone said, if you had the courage to say, I feel it, and someone said, feel it, I have no idea, but I feel it. You made a huge step. That's a huge step, because now you've acknowledged to yourself and verbalized to yourself that you feel it. And you go from there. It's baby steps, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the reason that's so important to understand is that you're on the planet, and the planet is this a beautiful mothership. You can hold her that way. That's taking you places. And you can, I've said it before, you can hop off, or if you're here and you want to go, well, let me phrase it even a different way. So you're here, your choice is you can, however inept you may feel at the moment, however confused, however, whatever your labeling is, take a deep breath, drop into your heart, and muddle through. Okay, and there are lots and lots and lots and lots of beings all over the place who will help you muddle through in various ways.
Yeah.
If you don't choose to do that, and it's a choice, make no mistake, choosing. If you don't choose to do that, then what you will experience is something that you have chosen. Although when you start to see it happening and you're experiencing it, you're going to go, I didn't choose that. but it is so nonetheless. And the last point I'll make on that is that the reward for stepping fully into it is infinite, beyond infinite. In the richness, in the vibrancy, in the sheer orgasmic, delightful joy of it. And even taking a few little tiny infinitesimal baby steps in, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I have no idea what to do. I don't understand it, but I'm taking these steps. They said take a step. I'm taking this. I don't know. That reward there for just doing that will be so amazing for you. You will feel it on every level of your body, of your being. You will see it in glimpses and shimmers in every place imaginable if you only look. So you choose.
Yeah, that noticing and the noticing of things is so huge. And then when you take that step, noticing the difference of how you feel is, for me, back when we were talking about my flip-flopping, just even noticing how I was doing that flip-flopping helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that being able to embody that fact of noticing things, taking note, collecting those puzzle pieces. Oh, wait a minute. When I notice this, I feel this. And when I feel this, this happens. And when I ask myself these questions, I get knowings. And when I pay attention to those knowings and actually trust it, I get more knowings. And more comes, and it pans out, and it's being validated. And I mean, it became for me personally, so much fun. First of all, I mean, the joy that you talk about, that expansive feeling, that standing on the edge of such a huge, wondrous playground is what it feels like.
Yes.
It honestly does. I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yes.
And so
Riding Pegasus horses and the whole night.
Yes, and
But you gotta claim it. You gotta own it.
Yes.
You gotta be it. You are love, and it's time to be love now.
Yeah. There's been a whole lot of stock in the 3D linear world put in what it looks like, what it sounds like, what will the neighbors think, all of that, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't add up to I don't know, a pile of crap in the yard, man. It doesn't even add up to that. So it's like, why bother with all of that? Who gives a rat's? This feeling, this kind of thing that I'm experiencing, that's where that's at, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what Billy Bob down the street's saying about me.
That's right.
I really could give two craps.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, I'm sorry. I had to rant there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Would either one of you like to say anything else about this one?
I want to say thank you to BZ. That was beautiful. I really appreciate it.
Cool. So let's close this energetic envelope here, and then we'll come back and pick one of the ones on the list.
Yes, and I will have links to both BZ's blog at the IUV and Lisa's two blogs, Heart Song Musings and Rush Solutions, Tools for Transformation, along with my email address and a link to the Conscious Conversation Central Facebook page.
And the comment section is a really good place. That's a safe place to step up and, take a tiny little teensy step there.
Yes. And my email too, because I have had folks reach out that don't feel like the comment section is a safe enough place. But my email address is absolutely safe. No one else but me sees that. And I don't ever share anyone's email addresses with anyone else unless I have your permission first. So, all right, awesome. Till next time.
All right.